Welcome to Off the Chalk, where we help you build competitive lineups on Fanduel. Episode is for October 22nd, one game showdown slate between the New York Giants and the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm your host, Ryan Hashay, joined with Mike, Money Team 10, who spends hours doing research so that you don't have to. Mike, welcome to the show, buddy.
Yeah, let's go. Let's get into it.
I see you're super excited here because you really do not like this game, do you?
No, it's not so much the game that I don't like. It's just there's so much we don't know, and it's Wednesday right now. You know, it'd be nice to record this show an hour before game time when we know who's playing. But right now, like the coaches just aren't telling us much. Like more specifically, the Eagles coach. I mean, we do know Miles Sanders is not going to play. Zach Ertz is not going to play. But then there's just a bunch of guys that might play. They might not. I mean, Jalen Reagor is due to come off IR, but he hasn't practiced, and the coach really hasn't said much about whether or not he's going to play. Dallas Goedert, who if he plays, I love for $9,500 tight end. He's supposed to be off the IR. When asked about it today, the Eagles coach basically said he's on track, but not that he's going to play or he's not going to play. So I'll be all over Dallas Goedert if he's playing. But yeah, no, I can't stand this game personally.
So basically, we're kind of stuck trying to. We're gonna basically put in a placeholder lineup if we're doing it right now. If this is closer to game time, we're checking these specific guys to see if we can add them, right? Or
Yeah.
if they're injured, obviously we don't want to. If they're not, throw them in.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna
If
be
it makes
watching.
sense.
Yeah, I'm gonna have my eye on Dallas Goedert. Also, the Giants, Sterling Shepard, wide receiver. He's due to come back from IR, and he did practice on Tuesday. So, yeah, good chance he
Whereas
plays. He's $6,500. He's way down there. He should be priced
65.
down there. There's a chance he plays. So
if he plays, that's a good value to have in your lineup potentially.
yeah,
If
absolutely.
you need a lower price guy, if you spent a lot of your money, or
Yeah,
you think he'll
I
be
don't.
low owned?
Yeah, he could be. I mean, because there's three guys right there for $6,500. Boston Scott is a popular pay for $6,500. I mean, in two games last year against the New York Giants, he had over 100 total yards in both games. One game he had a touchdown. The other one he had 3 touchdowns. So he loves playing the Giants. And then just above him, Richard Rodgers is $6,500. If he's the only show in town for tight end, Carson Wentz loves his tight end. So there's a bunch of options down there for $6,500 this week. This slate, I don't think you're not gonna struggle to get the plays in you like. You got a ton of money. You can go a bunch of different ways. I just wish we knew more as far as the injuries.
Okay, so do we want to start off throwing in an MVP, building kind of a shell of a lineup here, and then just know that we're going to revisit our lineup before game time just to see if there's any optimizations that we can make right before the game?
Yeah, you could throw a lineup in there, and if you like it, hold on to it no matter what happens tomorrow, because the more players that come off of IR tomorrow and possibly play, I mean, you get better value on the players that you do have in the lineups, because you're going to have people that may shift off of those plays and go to like a Dallas Goedert or go to a Sterling Shepard. So if you like the lineup you build on a Wednesday or a Thursday before knowing who's going to play, as long as you're picking guys that are healthy and playing, maybe stick to it or switch off if you want.
Okay, so in one of these 5 player single games, what's kind of your strategy normally for picking one of these lineups?
First thing I look at is if I can find either a running back, a wide receiver, or a tight end that I absolutely love, and I feel like has a potential to outscore the quarterbacks, then I'm going to throw them in the MVP, because you're being different. Typically you will see the quarterbacks carry that high ownership in the MVP spot, but it makes sense, right? The last 5 showdown slates on FanDuel, the highest score has been the quarterback. So if you're looking at this slate and you think that Carson Wentz or Daniel Jones is going to be the highest score, just throw them in the MVP and try to be different elsewhere.
Okay. So, if I'm thinking that Daniel Jones or Carson Wentz, My first thought is to throw Carson Wentz in there.
Yeah,
Why don't we do that right now?
yeah, I like Carson Wentz. He's got a tough matchup. The Giants have given up the sixth least amount of fantasy points to quarterbacks this year, but Carson Wentz is no stranger to that. He's played the Ravens, the Steelers, the 49ers in recent weeks, so all teams with good defenses. So he's getting some weapons back. He's faced some tough teams recently, and he's playing at home. I love Carson Wentz as the MVP.
Okay. So if Carson Wentz is racking up a bunch of points, who else is racking up a bunch of points with him?
Well, we were just talking about one of them. I'm gonna put in $6,500. Boston Scott, the running back. Not only is he gonna carry the ball, but he's involved in the passing plays. So what you're looking for there is, some design plays or dump offs to Boston Scott where you get your MVP some points, and then you also get Boston Scott for 6,500.
Okay, so between I think you mentioned Rodgers here as well. Are these guys even on the same level for $6,500? Do you think?
Well,
Like, is he a legitimate option over Boston Scott potentially?
yeah, I mean, the Eagles love using the tight ends. They love playing with two tight ends in the game, and they're just running out of healthy bodies at that position. So losing Zach Ertz is a big loss for the Eagles. Right now, we don't know if Dallas Goedert's going to play, so that leaves one healthy tight end that we're familiar with is Richard Rodgers. So he is a good play. I just think that you're guaranteed to see more touches for Boston Scott. He's going to run the ball.
Yeah, with Sanders out.
Yeah.
Okay, let's fire him in as a placeholder for now. Who else we got? So we got two Eagles right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw in another Eagle. We've been seeing Carson Wentz has a new favorite wide receiver to throw the ball to, Travis Fulgham. He's gonna keep it going. He's got a tough matchup this week facing Bradbury, the corner from the Giants, but Fulgham's seen 23 targets in the last two games. Caught touchdown passes in both those games, and in the last three games actually he's been involved. So I'm gonna fire Travis Fulgham in there and think that Wentz is going to keep throwing it to him. One of his receivers that he is getting back is Deshaun Jackson. I think that helps Travis. I think this helps the whole offense. Deshaun Jackson just being on the field is going to hit the potential for him to go deep. His speed is going to, loosen this defense up a little bit.
Awesome. Yeah, I could get behind putting him in my roster for sure. Who else we got?
I'm going to come back. I'm going to go with the two quarterbacks this week because we can afford it. Daniel Jones, I'm going to plug him in there. Not only does he throw the ball, but he's got that potential to run the football. You saw it last week. So, anytime you can afford two quarterbacks, I think it's a smart play. So we can definitely afford it this week. I'll plug in Daniel Jones.
Cool. All right. So that leaves us with 11,500.
Yeah, I'm going to go down to Evan Ingram. He's got a great matchup this week against the Philadelphia Eagles. They've been giving up, I think, the fourth or third most points to tight ends this season in a half-point PPR. So Evan Ingram, it also leaves $1,500 on the table, which is, unpopular to do, gets you to have a little bit of a unique lineup. But you can go a bunch of ways with this last spot. If Shepard plays, he becomes an option. Throw the kicker in there from the New York Giants. He's been kicking well lately. But you can basically go any way you want. Don't feel the need to have to spend all that money.
Yep. And you can also change the captain in this situation too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Plug in Daniel Jones as the captain and rearrange this lineup, sub in different guys you like. If you don't like Boston Scott, go for the tight end as an option there, or even maybe there's somebody available for what's left if you do spend the money, 8,000. Might be able to go up to somebody more than that.
Yeah, I mean, you got Deshaun Jackson right there. Like I said, for me, it's just hard to trust D-Jax. He's the type of player that He could have a big game, catch a couple long ones, or he could pull his hamstring again on the first play. So I'm going to save myself, the worrying about Deshaun Jackson's health, and I'm just going to play the guys I know that are healthy. And I'm going to have money left over on the table. I'm going to feel okay about this lineup. I got both quarterbacks in this. I feel good about this lineup.
Cool. Okay. Well, I think that pretty much sums it up. We can't really get away from having to kind of watch what's about to happen before the game starts, right? And make little minor adjustments. Anything else you want to mention before we sign off here?
No, just look for our next show. We're going to be putting one out there for Week 7 main slate. I'm excited for this one. A lot better than last weekend's kind of messy slate. Not a lot of good teams on there. So this one should be exciting. Look for that this weekend.
Yeah. And did you want to mention the Roto Grinders tournaments that are available?
Yeah, well, I'm big on the single entry tournaments on FanDuel every week. I love playing single entry. Not big on the multi-entry stuff. I like filling up as much single entry as I can. And right now, this is the second week for Roto Grinders doing the single entry series championship. It runs for 6 weeks. It takes your 4 best scores or your 4 best averages over those 6 weeks. And there's a couple different ways you can qualify to end up going to the single series championship. We could probably talk more about it for the Week 7 slate, but check it out on FanDuel. It's got the Roto Grinders symbol right beside it.
Yeah, I'm going to be in all of those tournaments to try and get the most value out of it possible.
Yeah, that's the way to go. Single entry.
Awesome. All right. Well, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you get that next video that's coming up, and hit that like button while you're at it. Signing off. See you later, guys.